can you get yourself motivated? Do you need confidence to get your business up and running? Do you need courage? Do you need resilience? What are the secret ingredients that will help you get up and running, especially for those of us that are feeling stuck? Today, we're getting introspective. We are looking within for some answers before we go out there and make sales, change the world. Actually, more importantly, is to change our world. And that's what the power of business is all about, folks. Please type in the chat if you are someone who knows where you are in the world, because I'm not entirely sure where am I today? I'm back home. I'm in Northamptonshire. Stick in the chat where you are, folks. If you're watching us on YouTube, good evening. Hit the like and subscribe button. That helps get our videos in front of more people. The reason why that's important is because our training is completely free. Where are you from? We've got Tunbridge. Oh, sorry, darling. Oh, gosh, darling. I just saw sorry, darling, at the top of my page. Sunny Hampshire, says Jules. Halifax, Rugby. Oh, just up the road, Catalin. I'm only about 20 minutes away from you. Where else have we got here? Alliston, Canada. Ella, morning, or is it evening? I'm getting confused. No, it's kind of lunchtime-ish for you, I think. St. Louis, Missouri. Amazing. London, West London. And we have Woking. We've got the Berkshire and the Welsh crew in the house. It's so fantastic to see you all here, folks. So are you ready to get up and running? Are you up and running? I am. I'm looking forward to this evening, actually. I had a little trip last week. I left you in Laura's capable hands. For those of you that are here on last week's Q&A with Laura, Kelly, and Clara, please type in the chat if you found it useful. Let us know what you got from that session. I know that they were buzzing afterwards, so I hope you got some value from that. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is share my screen very shortly. First, I need to make sure that I'm sharing the right slides. That'll be a good start, wouldn't it? Let's do that one. Beautiful. So I'm going to ask you a question, folks, and it's a question that I asked you right at the start. You might remember all the way back to week 1 of the course. The question that I asked you on week 1 of the course is exactly the one I'm going to ask you now. And it's all to do with what is stopping you. That's what I want to know the answer to this evening, is what's stopping you right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you can use the QR code link. I'm going to run the same poll again, folks, because the thing about this stuff is that what's stopping you now might be different from what was stopping you on week 1 of the course. I'm just really curious. I know the team are. I'm curious to know the answer to this. So you can use that poll. I'm just going to launch the poll if I can find the right one. Yeah, stick it in the chat, by the way, folks. If you can't see a poll on the screen yet, because I can't either, stick it the answers in the chat for me. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can whack it in the comments, or you can use the oh, there we go. I can find it now. That's the one I'm after. There we go. Interact with the poll for me, guys. What's stopping you, whether it's money, fear, taking the next step, know-how or skills, whether it's sales, whether it's your situation, because what we're going to do is we're going to compare your answers now to the answers that we got in week 1 of the course. And then we're going to send your answers away to a team of psychologists who will psychoanalyze the progress that you've been making and then measure it. And then they will report back and they'll say, this person needs extra help on whatever the issues are. I'm really curious today. The answers to this stuff. Brain freeze. Sorry to hear that, Peter and Anna. That might be my fault, actually. That often happens, by the way, is that you arrive with a bunch of ideas, you have a conversation with me, you now have 1,000 ideas, and you've got even more of a problem. But actually, part of this process is we've got to go through that stage. We've got to go through that stage. A few of you talking about confidence. Last opportunity to interact with the poll if you haven't done so already. Yeah, it's a real balance again. It's a real balance. Still fear, says Tracy. I get it. Money, says Grace. Situation, says Mary. Thanis and Elliot. Situation, time. Nothing, says Ian. Loving that. I'm probably the only one stopping you because you could be building your business. Instead, you're watching and listening to us. What else have we got? If you don't like the single choice, Julie, you can whack more answers in the chat here. Now, what's what might bake your noodle a little bit later on is when we talk about our situation, what is sometimes the case is that it's not so much our situation, but it's how we're thinking about our situation that holds us back. We'll be having a little conversation about that a bit later. We may have chance for a couple of you to get some, if you're up for coming on camera, we can do a little bit of live coaching and, a bit of live support, not live support. I'm not qualified for that. Good. Right. Let's end the poll and share the results just so you can see what we're dealing with. Most of you say it's your situation and fear or lack of confidence is the thing that's holding you up. I'm so glad that you're here this evening because that's what we're going to talk about this evening. And where are we? So knowledge, sales. And I guess like my general theme here, the general theme of the session this evening is make as much money as you can, as quickly as you can, and then you can deal with the rest of your problems in style. And that's really my rule of thumb here, is that if I can get you guys taking action and dial down the amount of thinking that you might be doing that might be holding you back. You might be thinking, for example, things that make you feel scared. When we think about things that make us feel scared, it's harder for us to take action. Right? So we'll be dialing that stuff up, replacing it with action, because you don't need to feel confident to take action. You can still take action even when you don't feel confident. But what sometimes happens is that the story that we're telling ourselves about not being able to take action is the thing that's preventing us, not the fear itself. It's the story that we keep repeating. All right. So we'll be getting into some of these themes this evening, because in my experience, the information of how to start and build a successful business is already out there by the bucket load. Everyone and their cat wants to give you knowledge, information, and advice about how to start a business and how to launch this and try that and sell this and do that. There's so much advice out there. We should all be multi-gazillionaires, right? Because the advice is already out there. In fact, the Rebel School course, we've been delivering this course since September 2012, when I was 20. That's when we started. It wasn't that funny, Rebecca. Blimey. Oh my goodness. How rude. I'm just messing with you. I'm just making sure that you're listening, everybody. That was all. I can see some of you doing the maths. Rebecca's probably head of maths at the Rebel School. She's going 2012, 20. Shut up. Do me a favor. The information is already out there. We've been teaching this stuff. We've trained 60,000 people in 11 countries since 2012. And we have this tiny little corner of the internet. The rest of the internet is full of people giving us sage advice. The information is out there. So why are we not gazillionaires? Why are we not happy? It's not because of the information. It's not because of the quality of your business idea. It's about the action that you're taking, or more importantly for this evening session, the action that you're not taking and why. That's what I'm interested in. So this evening, I'm going to be getting some leverage. And just to set you guys up, do you remember this slide from week 1? We had a version of this slide. This slide is like home. So for those of you that are still feeling a little bit stuck, okay, when it comes specifically to your business, I'm going to get onto mindset in a minute. When it comes specifically to your business, the mini experiment method basically says, choose one idea, bootstrap it. By that, we mean don't spend any money. Focus on one product or service. And that's what the what refers to in the top circle. Focus on one product or service, stick it in front of a customer and ask them for a sale. And repeat and keep repeating until you make a sale, and or you adjust it based on your feedback and based on your learning. That really is the essence of the method. Now, lots of people are stuck because they don't have clarity on one of those 3 circles. And the love around the outside, by the way, that's all about choosing an idea that you're excited to do, that makes sense to you. Because if you're not excited by your business, nobody else is going to be. So you choose one product or service, the one that makes most sense, the one that you can get started right now, the one that would excite you to do, and focus on who you're going to put it in front of. And the first part of that is, if you've got them, friends, family, neighbors, people you went to school, college, university with, co-workers, former co-workers. Road test your idea with them first. For those of you that don't have those people in your network, then you move to step 2, which is strangers. And that's when you go to events and you talk to people in the street, or you hop into the post office and you have a chat with the person behind the counter in the post office, and you say to them, just launched a business. Can I test my pitch out on you before I go and talk to someone not as friendly as you? Or you go and repeat that in the coffee shop. And if you happen to do that in a certain coffee shop, they might even give you a free coffee. Might have happened to me more than once. And that's not the reason I did it. The reason I did it was to get out of my comfort zone. That's where your life begins, everybody. Outside your comfort zone, otherwise you'd already have this. So the step is, what am I selling? Let's stick it in front of an audience and take lots of action. Don't take 6 months to speak to 50 people. Do it in the next 6 days. And this is what happens when we start. We're a bit, what's the word? Tentative when we first start a business because of reasons of fear. It's a little bit like that thing, when the swimming pool's really cold and most of us like stick a toe or an elbow in, or like you stick your fingers in first, that you go, oh, it's cold. Like when you do that, does it change the temperature of the swimming pool? It doesn't, does it? The temperature stays the same. You still got to get in. You still got to get in the pool, folks. So here we go then. Kim McCarthy says, Kim, I walked home tonight with £120 in cash, paid up front for sessions. I low costed it for mates rates, but I got a sale. This is amazing news, Kim. I got a sale, paid up front, thanks to everything you taught me. Kim, you get a million points for that, 1 million points and £120. You see, I don't make this stuff up. It works. It works. Brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. I like seeing that. And if there's any other sales information, folks, I might have seen some more somewhere. Michaela says, you're struggling a bit. The health, Caroline, health as well, to be fair, is when I'm pain and exhausted, it's harder to make actual progress. So it is. I totally understand that. And maybe you'll get a nugget of information today. Maybe you'll pick something up that might help. But we've got to look after ourselves. We've got to manage our health and well-being at the same time. And Katie says the same. Get it, Katie. Right. And Tracy. Folks, I've got you. We're going to look after you tonight. I think you'll like the session. So, question for you before we move on. Where do you need to put your attention next? Where do you need to put your attention next? So maybe there's something on that page that makes you think, do you know what? I still haven't really focused on what business idea is, or do you know what? I really need to find out who my target audience is, or I need to take some marketing action, but I don't really know what to do. Where do you need to put your attention for your business, folks? YouTubers, please tell us in the comments. I am diving onto the comments very shortly. Beautiful. And tell us in the chat. I'd love to know, folks. And identify target market. I think I saw somebody say, it's going fast. Lots of marketing things happening there. Good. Livia needs to get the ideas sorted. Rebecca, setting up a way to take payment, linking SumUp to Canva. Hopefully you've got our guide that Laura wrote, Rebecca, that can help with that. If you get stuck, post in the support group. I'm sure Laura will take a look at it. She is the queen of SumUp. She's who I ring, by the way. If I need to link SumUp, then I'll ring Laura. So that's a clue. Okay, good. Right, lots of marketing stuff happening there, folks. Now, somebody said that there was about a target audience. That was the thing that they were looking for. I want to talk about that in a moment. Roseanne said target audience and how to transfer the idea on a service people will want. Okay, getting myself out there, says Dan. Marketing. Teresa C, stuck on the how. Okay, good. Right, here's what I'm going to invite you to consider. It might be that the thing that you're stuck on when it comes to the how, when it comes to the marketing, might not be the marketing itself, but just how you're thinking about it. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Maybe if you came off of this call thinking slightly differently, or maybe thinking completely differently, the whole world can open up to us, guys. That's what I want for you this evening. Okay. Quick run through the small print. There's the small print. Read it. No, don't read it. Reminder, this is a safe space that we want to create for you guys. Please help us to do that by keeping the comments appropriate, being supportive, being kind to each other. Business isn't a competition when it comes to this. There's enough business out there for all of us. And I've noticed that it's much easier helping someone else to sort out their business problems than it is to deal with our own. That's one of the reasons I love the community so much. Reminder that we don't compare pineapples. We're all starting in different places. We've all got different life situations, different levels of experience in business, different levels of education, different postcodes and zip codes. So what's important is that you focus on what you want and what you're trying to create. Don't worry about what someone else is doing, unless to be inspired by it. Comparison is the thief of joy. We're all starting from different places. It doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you start. I was in Morocco last week and the cakes looked like this pretty much everywhere I went. It was not good for my waistline, everybody. A reminder that when you're in a business course, if you try and consume everything on the course, it will make you feel similarly ill as if you tried to eat everything on a buffet. You choose the things that work for you. Also, a reminder, it's a refrigerator course. You get out what you put in. The more you put in, the more you can take out. And sometimes it gets a bit much. I get it. Remember to breathe. In fact, with that in mind, multitask at your peril. A quick note about multi-level marketing. This is not the place for that. As part of our drive to keep this as safe place as possible, we want you to feel like you're not being sold to whilst you're on the course. And also a reminder that we have constructed this course with people with neurodiversity in mind, by people that experience neurodiversity. And if we're getting something wrong, please tell us, drop us an email and let us know. If you don't like anything on this course, a reminder that you can have 100% of your money back. If you've paid money for this course, something's gone terribly wrong. And a big thank you to our sponsors across the UK, the councils in North Essex, Bridgend, South Ribble, Chorley, West Berkshire, and there's another one that I've forgotten, which we'll come back to in a minute. My slide is missing. I'm going to come back and thank the sponsors properly because, guys, this course is free because of them. It's specifically for their geographic communities, but they're working with us on the mission of making business possible for anyone and everyone. So with that in mind, it's free for you guys to attend. Okay, next question. Maths and science and physics. Guys, please type in the chat what the letters in this equation stand for. Brent and Camden, thank you, Henry. Brent Council and Camden Council are other sponsors. Please type in the chat what this means. I'm getting you get a bit worried, folks, aren't you? What's this, a physics lesson? We're not here to do physics, Simon. I like where someone put energy and milk and coffee in there. It's going too fast for me to read. I love that, guys. Okay, so this is the equation that someone called Albert Einstein came up with. Now, I think you'll agree, folks, that Albert Einstein was a clever chap. I've taken his equation and I've improved it with my I've got a D in physics. This is really funny that I'm reading this stuff out now. Right, so what do you think the letters stand for? I'll give you a clue, guys. It's nothing to do with physics. I'm going to let Albert do the theory of relativity. What I'm more interested in is business. Guys, what do you think the letters stand for? Type in the chat. What does the E stand for? The size of your E is a combination of your M multiplied by your C squared. What does that mean? It's not egg, Henry. You can tell the CEOs in the house, can't you? It's not energy, but I like your thinking. I like the thinking. I'll give you a clue. It's another word for business, is the E. Enthusiasm, that's a nice word, Cassandra. It's not that. It is indeed enterprise. Well done to the enterprises. Santiago, Jill, Amanda, AM. Excitement, motivation. You got the M, Teresa. The M is motivation. So the size of my enterprise is a combination of my motivation multiplied by my something squared. What does the C stand for? Keep it clean. Collaboration. It's not that, Peter, but I am very collaborative. I like that. It's not commitment. I like commitment's good. Confidence, says Roseanne. I like curiosity too. Let's go with confidence for this one. So imagine this, folks. If you woke up tomorrow morning and your business is there waiting for you, if you're struggling to get out of bed, how likely is it that you're going to be able to build your business? It's less likely, isn't it? Look, we all have duvet days. We all have days when we're not feeling it, and that's okay. But if you stayed in bed for the entire year and did nothing on your business because you weren't motivated, the chances of you getting yourself out there and making sales reduce. Make sense? Cool. And then multiply by confidence squared. Now, the reason I came up with this, folks, I remember I was in a job centre in Portsmouth. They invited me in because they had somebody there that they didn't know what to do with, and they were a bit scared of him. And they rang me up and they said, Simon, we've got somebody here. He's a bit scary and we don't really know how to help him, but he wants to start a business. And he'd recently come out of prison. And the thing that I noticed with him is it's the same issues that we all face, but because he was having a really rough time, it was like putting a magnifying glass over it. So that I really started to unpick this and went, do you know what? If I can help this guy be excited to get out of bed tomorrow morning to work on his business, then he's going to be able to make progress. At least I'm looking for leverage. That's what I was hunting for, leverage. And that's why we say at Rebel School, you know, choose a business idea that you like, choose something that you're excited about, because that's leverage. If you can find a way to get paid for something that's in your heart that you actually really enjoy doing, that's the whole point of this, isn't it? And to me, I think this is where starting a business and entrepreneurship gets a little confused, because there are lots of people out there that want to be entrepreneurs, that want to solve a problem, that want to grow a business and take a risk and make money. But that's not actually what I'm talking about here. Maybe some of you will become entrepreneurs, and I want that for you. I love that for you. What I'm really interested in is you being able to wake up tomorrow morning with joy in your heart, doing something that you can get paid for doing, meaning that you can keep doing more of it so that you don't have to go to the Job Centre Plus. You don't have to go on welfare. You don't have to do a part-time or a full-time job that you don't want to do. Right? That's what I really want for you guys. Do you know what, Melanie? The person that I had in mind, there's a couple of people that I have in mind actually, and Tracy too. We have been into prisons. We have done some stuff with people that are on the verge of being released from prison. And self-employment and starting a business is a great option for some of these guys. What I do know to be true is that whilst they may be confident in prison, quite often they're not confident when we're starting a business. It's contextual confidence, right? So think about you guys. I bet you're confident in your own home. There's a good chance you'll be confident with your friends, or maybe not. But there's a higher chance that you will be than if you're starting a business for the first time, because we're doing something new. We're trying something different. So here's the bit then. Here's what I want for you guys. When I realized that you don't actually need confidence at all, it sort of blew a hole in my equation. Right. So I'm going to come up with a different C for this one, because here's what I discovered. I can still take action. I don't have to be confident. I think I told you when I took my son swimming, he was not confident to get in the pool and swim because I was a little bit too far away for him to feel confident, but that didn't stop him getting in the pool. So until confidence shows up, action will do. Folks, if you're ready to take some more action, type the word action in the chat, because it's the action that I can get you to take from tonight that will change everything for you. Until you take action, it's a hallucination. Type in the chat, or if you're watching on YouTube, type the word action, please, in the comments below, because I want to get you guys doing stuff. In fact, my business partner, Alan, who you're going to see again next week, by the way, Alan and Katie are back next week. Very excited for the session that they're going to share with us all next week. Alan's favorite expression, I think it's just for me. I think he just says it for me. He says, stop thinking, start doing. Some of you needed to hear that this evening. 80 comments have arrived in the Zoom reverse. Lots of you are ready to take action. I love that. Angela, I will change it to consistency if that would make you happy. Maybe. I'll think about it. Right, let's keep rolling then, folks. Where do we get to? Oh, I know where we got to. We got to here because, going back to my little equation for a second, there's something missing. What does the S stand for? I told you I made this equation better. He made a reasonable start. I made it slightly stronger. What do you think the S, when it comes to business, I need to be excited to wake up tomorrow morning. I need to do some kind of confidence relating activity. I need to build my confidence. Maybe it's courage. Maybe it's commitment. Maybe it's consistency. But I need to get myself out there. I need to take a deep breath and go and take some action. But if I've got no idea what I'm doing, how am I going to build my business? It should be sales, shouldn't it? Sales is one of my S's. Okay, so sugar, Amanda, no, it's very bad for you. Amanda says sugar. Sugar is evil, Amanda. It's one of the 5 devils. Strategy is May. May says, Simon, you don't even need me. You definitely don't need me. What do you need? You need skills. That's what you need. Skills. Because think about it like this, and this is one of the reasons I think that some of you are here. If you don't know how to manage your money, if you don't know how to post something on social media, you just need to boost your skill level a little bit. How do you do that? By taking action. That's what we need. We're going to be taking some action. Okay, so you did that very fast, folks, almost as fast as the Moroccans last week. By the way, I did this thing with a well-known government department once. It took them an hour and a half to get this, so you did it exceptionally fast, guys. I'm very proud of you. Let's keep rolling. Right, the question that I have for you is, what motivates you? If motivation is the leverage that we can use as business owners, what I want to be able to do is I want to tap into your motivation, because we're going to get tested. There's going to be days when you're not feeling it. So if we can understand what motivates us, we can use that as leverage to get ourselves to do a thing even when we're not feeling like it. So let's look at the things that affect our motivation first. Okay, so I've got a great list of things that motivate you guys. I'm glad you know what that is. Let's have a look at, some of you have said education, financial independence motivates Margaret. Making money motivates you. Yeah, I like that, Biela. Responsibility to others, Amy. That's very nice. Teaching, money, helping people, says Roseanne. That motivates you. But there's some really, really good stuff in here, folks. And Simon, that's brilliant what you said about not going back to teaching, because there's the things that we move towards that motivates us, that we want to make more money, we want to be able to have holidays, we want to look after our family, we want to help people. And there's the things that we're trying to get away from, which is, I want to get away from teaching. I want to get away from the job center. I want to get away from my boss. I want to get away from feeling like I haven't got any money. I want to get away from not doing the things that I want to do with my life. Okay, so let's look at the opposite of that, because I want to focus in for a moment on what affects our motivation, folks, because we are the product of where we put our focus. We are the product of where we put our focus. So what you watch, what you read, what you listen to, who you spend your time with, what you eat and drink, what we think about. And if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. Now, when you think about how we consume information on our phones, how the media tends to find ways to damage our mojo, even if you did this for 5 minutes a day, if you read something that affected your motivation for 5 minutes a day, that's 35 minutes per week. That's 140 something. I should have chosen an easier number for my maths. It's a lot of motivation. Where's the maths teachers when I need them? Where are you? Rebecca was good at adding up. She added up my age really quickly. Come on, Rebecca, I needed your help. As I say, when it comes to your motivation levels, our motivation levels, if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out, everybody. And what this little part of my conversation is for us all this evening is I want you to just think about this as to what are you consuming, whether it's food or information or literature or video, that is negatively affecting your motivation. I know some of you have edited this stuff out already, but I'm going to invite you to do that, because if you want to change the way you make money, one of the things that I want to help you do is change the way you think. Your motivation levels are precious when it's your own business. When someone else is paying you wages, you can have a good day, you can have a bad day, you can have a day where you're not feeling it. Okay. And this is going to impact your income the more bad days you have. I know this for a fact because my own motivation levels, folks, let me tell you this, have been a proper roller coaster since I started this business in 2012. Right. And I know this from the bottom of my heart. If I can help you guys focus on the things that make you feel good and make you feel motivated, you will get better business results. And even if you didn't get better business results, the journey feels a bit nicer. Okay, so that's some of the information that I'm going to share with you during this evening's session. So I guess what I've noticed is when I've met people through the business school over the last 13 or so years, the people that are struggling the most with their well-being, with their focus, with their motivation levels, are the people that spend their time focusing on things that they can't control. Because it's so disempowering, right? And there's lots of ways that we do that. The daily whatever. These kind of headlines and this kind of content, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel motivated? Does it make you feel angry? Does it make you feel frustrated? It's all coming at us, and a lot of the time we're not even conscious of what we're consuming. So my question to you is, what are you feeding your brain with? Because if you're feeding your brain with the information version of those large cheese puff related crisps, there's a good chance your motivation is going to be affected on the other side. And if you haven't done so already, I'm going to invite you to go on a media diet from now onwards. Just run a little experiment. I know some of you have done this already because we've been talking about it. If it's out of your control, well, we'll worry about it. And some of you are going to get angry with me on this one. I get it. But the reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to get the best possible results. I'm not going to tell you what to read, what to watch, what to listen to, what to think, what to have opinions about. But what I do know to be true is every single person I've met over the last 13 years that have been in a pickle and not making progress spend a disproportionate amount of their time focused on things that don't make them feel happy. It's that simple, guys. It really is. So let's keep rolling. My information this evening for this little section is I want you to cut out the bad and do more of the good. That's it. You choose. You choose. Remember, this is a buffet course. You get to take which bits you want and which bits you want to ignore. Sounds like a smart move, Anna. So it's a tough one for me because I quite like Radio 4. Spoiler alert, I quite like Radio 4. And I quite like the news. I find geopolitics and international relations and affairs quite interesting. So I have this sort of weird thing where I go, how fascinating. That makes me feel angry. Switch it off. Right, next. How about this one? Some of you aren't going to like this one. Who are you spending your time with? Who are you spending your time with? Do they lift you up? I think that's actually Henry upside down there. I don't know why Henry was upside down. This is a Rebel Team photo from a few years ago. I just love that photo so much. Do the people you spend your time with lift you up and make you feel energized, or are they bringing you down? It's an interesting one, isn't it, this? Because I know, folks, that there is more than one person on this call, because I've spoken to somebody about this already, who has somebody in their friends and family network who are pretty negative about their business ambitions and the direction of travel with their business ideas. Okay, so if you think you may have somebody in your friends and family network that you spend time with that are bringing you down, put the letter D in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Just give us a sense of just give us a sense that if there's, I bet there's more than one. Okay, look, there's quite a few. That's quite, I don't know if that's lots of D's for one person or if there's lots of people, in which case I'm feeling your pain. Yeah, very good. Okay, so this is tough, isn't it? Because what you might find is that people don't share your vision, they don't share your passion and excitement. And how it often plays out is that it comes out as negativity. What it actually often is, not always, but what it often is love and fear, and a combination of those things. And people are trying to keep you safe. They're trying to protect you from making a mistake. And I'm like, this is the only way that you're going to learn. But also, not everyone's bought into that journey. I've got a little trick for you, folks. This might be quite fun. But I have to do a little disclaimer before I share this one with you. Alan and I did a course a few years ago. We came off that course with a bunch of new tools and techniques to help people get unstuck and move forward. And one of those tools and techniques was a technique for dealing with negative friends and family members. Okay. And we did this technique and it did lead to someone getting a black eye. So if you decide that you want to do this technique, what I'm about to share with you is something that you must keep private. It's just for you, folks. You don't do this in the same room as somebody else. We had this really lovely guy. We were in a well-known city in the UK beginning with B, and the technique was to do with helping him manage conversations with his wife. And his wife was very against the idea of him trying a business idea and was very negative about it. So the technique is, here's what you imagine, folks, is that you stick your thumb out in front of you. And please do this now, guys, on camera. Rebel team, you can take a picture of this one. It's a big fun picture. Stick your thumb out on the camera. Look at your thumbnail, and I want you to project the person that you think might be the most negative person. It might be a friend, it might be a family member, it could be the bank manager, it could be your old boss. It might be somebody from your past, like an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-partner that got, you can hear them, you'll never come to anything, like the old English teacher thing that you'll never make anything of yourself, Sarah. You're never going to be anything, Fionis. They say this stuff to us, don't they? And sometimes it can last 30 years, this story that we've been implanted in our heads. So project the person or people onto your thumbnail like this, and you stare at them. And I want you to give them, everybody, I want you to give them Bugs Bunny ears in your mind, right? So you've got a tiny Bugs Bunny on your thumbnail. And by the way, just help me with this one. Type in the chat the sort of things people say to you. What do they say to you? Stick it in the comments. I'd love to know from YouTube, like, what are the things that people say to you that are having a damaging effect on your motivation? They're kind of bringing you down a little bit. What sort of stuff do they say? You can put your thumb down whilst you type, guys, by the way, because that could be challenging otherwise. So let's have a look. Nice hobby, but it won't make any money. I love this good one, isn't it? We haven't got room in the house. No one will come to a beach hut for therapy. I would. That sounds amazing. You're wasting your time. What if? And all the bad things that happen. The flat energy. Like that will never work. You're wasting your time. Santa shouldn't be charging for visits, Mike. Santa's got to eat. Santa's got to eat, Mike. So guys, these are fantastic examples. And, some of these examples are very current for us. My heart goes out to you guys. But what I'm going to do, for those of you that are as old as Rebecca knows I am, remember those adverts, those Ready Brek adverts from the 80s? You remember that? And you got like the orange glow around you. No, obviously you won't, Rebecca, but I do. And the orange glow around people as they leave the house because they've had their porridge. Other porridge brands are available, but Ready Brek, if you do want to talk to us about sponsoring us, I will sell out to you because that. But anyway, that's another story. So these kind of words, folks, they are powerful and they have a negative effect. It might be from 30 years ago that it's still in your mind now. We're going to remove that tonight. It might be very current right now. So I'm building the orange glow around you. So thumbs out. You imagine the people's face on the end of your thumb. You give them Bugs Bunny ears, and then you change their voice. You go, that will never work. What's that? It's a waste of time. You haven't got room in the house. It's just a hobby. That's all you got to do, guys. That's all you got to do. Now, back to my friend in Birmingham. Oh, well, I said the name of the city. Back to him. He went home because he found that like it just, you choose which bits work for you. Some of you are thinking I've literally lost my mind, and you might be right, and that's okay too. I find it helps. But he found this really powerful for him. He was like, oh God, they don't have the same sort of control on me, because I don't see them as this sort of big, angry, looming person anymore. I see them as a tiny Bugs Bunny with the funny voice on the end of my thumb. So anyway, he went home and he told his wife. And he said, I did this really cool thing at the Rebel School today. It really helped me to deal with your negativity. And she went, what do you mean? And he stuck his thumb out and he went, and I'm like, dude, this was supposed to be for you. This was our secret. It's what you do in the privacy of your own home or in the bathroom. Don't do it in the kitchen in front of the person that you're like. This is about your internal resilience, guys. It's about the ready Brett glow that you can create from within you. That's what my disclaimer is. So if anyone gets injured from doing this, my name is Alan Donegan, and you can contact me at the Rebel School. Okay, brilliant. Right, so that's what this stuff is about, guys. It's about building resilience. It's about focusing on what you want to focus on. Here's what I know to be true. If I had time, I'd find the Bugs Bunny ears, for the Zoom, but I probably wouldn't be able to switch them off like that lawyer in lockdown. Do you remember that? This is all about focus. I want you to be so aware that where your focus goes, the results will show. Wherever you're putting your attention, if you put your attention on the negative stuff, you will get the negative results. If you put your attention, and I know it's tough, and I know some of you are thinking, yeah, but you don't have my partner, house, life situation, conditions, and so on. I get it, and I'm not levitating. I actually sat on a chair. This will be news to some of you. I'm not levitating. I don't go through life effortlessly. Like I sent a text message to someone today going, today's session is about motivation, and I think this is possibly the worst day of the month that I could have chosen to do a motivation session. Why? Because I'm tired and I don't feel that motivated today. I feel motivated now. Why do I feel motivated now? Because I'm taking action. We suffer more in imagination than reality, right? Seneca apparently said that. I don't know how we know that. Maybe it was written down and passed down over a couple of centuries. But I think that's a really lovely expression because it's so true. Okay, so my heart goes out to you folks if you're in these conditions and if you're in a situation where you find it difficult. But I want you to know this. I want you to know that you can choose where to put your focus. I can't necessarily change your circumstances, but I can invite you to choose to focus on something that empowers you, not something that disempowers you. That's what my invitation is for you for this evening. Okay. Let's go back to a picture of Upside Down Henry. There we go. That's what we needed this evening. Thank goodness Jack was there. That would have been a horrendous moment otherwise. Okay. All I'm saying to you really this evening is to, when it comes to your focus, do less of the bad stuff, cut out the bad stuff, and do more of the good. That's what this is all about. What about the things that you say to yourself? How about that? I'm going to invite you to mind your language. And we'll do this a little bit more as the evening unfolds, or as the morning unfolds. Mind your language. Does anyone resonate with any of this? Does anyone say to themselves, what if it goes wrong? What if they say no? Or what if they say yes? Sometimes that's the opposite side, isn't it? What if I mess up my lines? This was someone that was going to do a sales call. They said, well, what if I mess up my lines? I said, well, you'll get them right next time then, won't you? So the things that we're saying to ourselves are sometimes even more unkind than the things that other people say to us. So just what I want you to do is I want you to be aware of the language that you're using to describe yourself. If I caught my 9-year-old using the word loser in a conversation with himself earlier on, I'm like, whoa, I'm dismantling that straight away. Okay. He'll never say that again, that's for sure. Because the internal chat, if your internal dialogue is focused on things that don't make you feel empowered, it will be harder for you to take action. For example, if I tell myself that I am not very good at business, what I'm actually saying is, I may not be experienced in business. I might be learning something new for the first time. But if the words that I keep repeating to myself are, I'm not very good at business, how much fun is it? How easy is it to make money if you're coming from that place? So I want you, like you are the general of your own brain. I remember watching a presentation from Paul McKenna once. And he walked on stage looking very cool. You know, Paul McKenna, the hypnotherapist and author. I think he's the most successful self-help author of all time. He made gazillions from his books about, you know, I can help you quit smoking and all that kind of stuff, right? So he walked on stage in a very fancy suit, you know, like a bit of charisma about him. And he walked on stage and everyone stared at him. There was about 300 people in the room, really dodgy carpet on the floor. I'll never forget the carpet. And he stared at everybody. He looked at everybody. I felt like he was eyeballing everybody in the room. And he said these words. He said, I control my brain. My brain does not control me. I'm like, wow, what a sentence. What a sentence. You are the general of your own brain, folks. We need to raise the awareness of the negative internal chat and focus on the positive internal chat, like Jael here. So Jael is saying, what if it goes right instead of what if it goes wrong? What if it goes right? What if they say yes? What if I say the right thing first time? Like there's always a way of looking at this differently, folks. The good is always available, but we get into a habit of focusing on the negative because it's the wonder of the human condition. It's the beauty of being a human being. We end up focusing on the bad things and the negative things, the things that we're scared of, because we think it keeps us safe. But it's a trick of the mind. All I'm saying to you guys here is what I want you to do is to do more of the good stuff and cut out the bad stuff. Ellen, you need to get your husband on, Ellen. Ellen says that husband is the motivator. That's really awesome. Well done. And Fran, I've seen your message. You're very welcome. Folks, if you've sent me a private message, I'm probably not going to see it. The chat is moving super fast. I will go back through it during this evening. But the good news is very shortly, in about 10 minutes time, we are going to have a brief takeover. And it's called the CEO takeover. So Henry, I'm putting you on notice. Like, for some reason, I don't know how, but he convinced me that he wanted 5 minutes with you guys whilst I wasn't listening. To me, this is a disaster. I've got no control over what's going to happen, but let's find out. Let's find out. If you're up for a Henry takeover, please type CEO in the chat, because Henry he's unhinged. I mean, he's like, who knows what's going to happen. Oh no, you want to hear from him, don't you? This is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare. Oh no.
What have you done?
Oh no, Henry, this is killing me. Right. In fact, I'm suddenly really, really nervous about this. Right, where did we get to? Okay, I'm just going to go back through some of your messages, folks, because this is some really, really important topics. And okay, so Dawn says, lack of self-motivation is my problem. I am my biggest critic. Procrastination is my constant companion. But do you know what, Dawn? I absolutely love what you said then. If Dawn is her own biggest critic, I think we might have spotted Why is she struggling to get motivated? Do you see what I mean? If the words that we say to ourselves are the things that are holding us back often. So thank you for typing that comment, Dawn. That's amazing. Yeah, and Simon on YouTube is the happiness is the only goal in life. I've seen the rest of your comments, Simon. My heart goes out to you, my friend. And I think, you know, to me, I think this is why a lot of people do this stuff, folks, especially when you reach an age, apart from Alex and one or two others that are under the age of 20 that are here, but many of us are here a little bit later in life. It's because we're starting to take notice of what's important to us now. But if you want to change the way you make money, I have to help you change the way you think. That's why I'm focusing on this stuff in our session this evening, folks, because I want this for you. I want you to win. I want you to win. And Dan says Simon is actually getting fired live. This could be possible, Dan. This could be possible. You never know. Okay, Diana, I've seen your comment as well. What if I burn the contact with a failed pitch? You know, this is powerful stuff. This can prevent us from taking the action. And I think, you know, the stuff that I'm going to be talking about next is going to be useful for you guys. Now, what we're going to talk about now is leverage from a slightly different perspective. Again, it's about motivation, but also I'm going to invite you to leverage your story. Okay, yes, that is me. As you know, I've built a business delivering hours and hours of training. At the time, we were doing 6 hours of training a day every week for 2 weeks. Guys, I can talk until November 2029 without a break. I've got plenty to say. One of the biggest challenges that I found was putting it in 18 minutes, scripted and recorded. So if you're interested in that, folks, we can share the link for the TEDx talk. It's a mental health focused TEDx. There is a trigger warning on it, and if there isn't, there should be, because I cover some pretty challenging themes in there. But what I want you to know, and this is what I've been reminding myself of again lately, sometimes our story can consume us. For those of us that have had a rough ride, whether it's unemployment, physical health, mental health, you know, family situation, we lose our jobs, you know, think we've all got the scars and challenges of life, right? What I want you to do is to be able to leverage your story rather than be consumed by your story. I want you to be able to use your story to help you grow your business and make sales, not be trapped by it. Okay. And I think this part of the section, folks, I know a few of you have compiled a case study. What I'm about to say to you, it's a little like that, but it's a little deeper and it's a little stronger. And I'm going to invite you to take an opportunity. The opportunity that I want to give you is for us to tell your story for you and with you. Okay. So in a moment, I'm going to take you through a few ideas as to how to create a story arc. You'll notice the process. If you've ever seen a show like Britain or America's Got Talent or X Factor or The Voice, you know, you'll notice the story arc is really similar to what they do in the media. There's a reason for that. It works. So I want you to be able to position your own story from that, because you can use that in all sorts of different ways. The single most engaged posts that I ever write on LinkedIn or Facebook are when I position story in it. Okay, so I'm going to give you the tools to help you tell your own story this evening. Guys, there is a philosopher, an ancient philosopher that I follow. His name's Ronan Keating. You might have heard of him. And Ronan Keating, the philosopher, was famous for saying, life is a roller coaster. Please type in the chat or the YouTube comments if you know the second part of that famous philosophical insight. The Irish pop music fans are showing themselves. You just got to write it. That's right, Melissa. And I can't. So there was somebody else that was first in the game. Jack, well done, Jack. Adiola was there. So eat ice cream. It's not that, Chelsea, but I like your thinking. Tracy knew it. Jill's excited that I've mentioned Ronan Keating on a business course. I'm just going to move on from there, folks. Right, you get the point. So your story, your life story, what I'm going to take you through, and there's a couple of you, actually, I've just seen a couple of questions that have popped up. I know this will be in some of your minds. How do you tell your story without giving out too much information? Now, the answer to that question, is when it comes to your story, you've probably got 20, 30 different versions easily if you think about it, right? So I've got so many stories all wrapped up in Rebel that I tell different stories at different times. Sometimes I tell your stories. Sometimes I tell stories of how I met Alan. Sometimes I tell stories of working with clients. Sometimes I tell stories of what I was doing before I set up Rebel School. So you get to choose which story you want to stick out there and how to adapt it for your audience. That's what my invitation is, because this is where some leverage is. This is where leverage is. And I remember we met a guy that came to one of our London courses who had an incredible life story, and his thing was, I don't know whether I should share this or not. I think it might put people off. And I said, well, tell me your story. And he blew my mind. He actually blew my mind. Now, the story of his garments, he was a fashion designer. It was super interesting. He was sourcing gold thread from Italy. Right? Super interesting story. How did he become to be a fashion designer? Well, he was a stockbroker before that. He worked in Wall Street and he got arrested with a large quantity of an illegal substance. And then he served time. British guy served time in an American prison, came out of there and decided to put his life in a new direction. What do you think, guys? Do you think he should share that story? Type share in the chat if you think that sharing that story is an engaging story that could create sales. What do you think? Yeah, he was hesitant. He was like, I don't know would it put people off if they knew that I had a history of addiction? Does that put people off? Now, my invitation to you guys is that your life story is a springboard. It's your story. You get to choose what you tell and how you tell it. But the hardships that you faced, cash in on them. You know what I mean? The springboard that you have from having such a tough situation in your life, you can use that as a springboard, because that's part of what makes you special. It's what makes you different. Don't share anything you're not comfortable with sharing. But you've got an opportunity here to really connect with people. I'm going to give you a slightly less controversial one for a minute, but no less impactful. Please find a cake emoji, folks, if you like cake. How fast can you find the cake emoji? Let's see who's quick on the emoji this evening, because I've not given you any. Who's that? Morgan. That's really quick. And I think that was Taylor. Was that Taylor that was floating on? I don't know. Some people are in the chat. Some of you are floating on the screen. I don't know where to. There's cake everywhere, guys. Right. Cake business. You've got two cake businesses sat next to each other in a city called Indianapolis in the US, right? We went there in 2018, got two cake businesses. And for the first 20 minutes of the course, they were glaring at each other. They were like this. Oh, you're a cake business. I'm a cake business too. You're stealing my customers and I'm stealing yours, right? It was this real kind of thing. And then they had a realization that only 8 customers a month would be a life-changing number for either of them. And there are more than 16 people in Indianapolis. People in America, you know this. There are more than 16 people in Indianapolis who like cake, right? So in which case, we don't have to be too worried about the competition. But we do need to understand, oh, Frida, I loved Indy. Oh, that's one of my favorite places I've been to. So what we do need to be able to understand is how to differentiate, and story is one way of helping us differentiate. Okay, I'll give you an example. Business number one, I love cake. I learned how to make cakes from my grandma in the 80s. And since then, I've made loads of cakes. And last year, I said to myself, I like making cakes so much that I want to turn it into a business. Would you like to buy one of my cakes? That's story number one. Story number two, cake business number two, is something along the lines of this. I found out my daughter has food intolerances that are life-threatening. And when she went to a children's party, she almost died as a result of eating something that we didn't know she was allergic to. And then for the next year, my daughter couldn't go to any parties because we were terrified that she was going to get exposed to a food item that her body didn't agree with. So I started my allergy-free cake business to help little boys and girls like my daughter have fun at parties and still eat delicious food, but stay alive. That's what my business is. Would you like to buy one of my cakes? That's what I call leverage in a story, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, Julia, I get it. Right? you know what I mean? So she was saying, I'm not really sure if I should tell my story about my daughter. I said, well, it's your choice, it's your story, but why don't you give it a go? You're in a safe space here. Why don't you give it a go? Have a go at telling your story. And that's what my invitation is for you guys, is to have a go at telling your story. And I've got a mechanism by which you can do that. I'm going to share with you the story arc, because that's the thing that will help you. Then I'm going to get you a link that you can take a look at. And I think that the important thing here is that I've seen the question, it's a good question. How do you tell your story when your audience customers are businesses and have limited time? And, you know, how do you not put people off with your story, is another way of saying that. What you do is you get really good at telling a short version. When I say tell your story, what I don't mean is make my ears or eyes bleed. Okay. And so, you know, when you get caught with someone at a party, or you get caught with someone at a Rebel event, and they go, can I tell you my story? I go, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got about 5 minutes. Is that okay? And they go, yeah, no problem, no problem. Well, it all started in 1951. And I go, oh, okay. I'm getting the slippers out. I don't own any slippers anymore, but I'm going to go and buy some, because this is going to be a long story, right? That's not what I mean. Remember, guys, your story is a piece of marketing, okay? Your story needs to get my attention. It needs to be interesting. I need to create an emotional connection, and I need to know what the next action is at the end of it, whether it's subtle or blatant, okay? So how do you tell your story when you've got people who've got limited time? I can tell you a story in one sentence. And I've quite often done that with the Rebel School. My business partner complained about my boss. And then when we got together, we realized that people are being encouraged to take on debt to start a business. We think this is wrong. We want to help people start a business debt free. Would you like a conversation? Okay, so it could be a 2-line version, or I could give you the in-depth version, right? Or some combination. I can cherry pick the bits. You know, there are loads of different ways that you can tell stories. I'm going to give you the story arc right now. Okay. Here's the story arc. It looks a little bit like this, guys. We're very close to a CEO takeover, which I'm panicking about. So I'm going to go a little faster on this one. This is the story arc. It kind of goes like this. Life was normal. I was doing this. I was working here and everything was cool. And then one day X happened and I faced this challenge or this issue. Okay, you want me in this picture, Inma? Do you want me in this? I'll put you a thumbs up. There we go. You can take a screenshot of this, guys. Take a screenshot, take a picture of it. And it will be on something that I'm going to take you through in a second as well. I'm going to give you a link to click in a minute, because I'm going to invite you to tell your story and share it with us. Even if you don't want to share it with us, you can type the thing out and then we'll send it back to you automatically. So you can save it on your computer, and then you can copy and paste bits for your social media, for your website, for a press release, all the different places that you can put a story. Oh, well done, Morgan. Look at you. Look at you. Love that. So normal life. Life was normal. I was working here. I was living here. I was brought up in my hometown. I'll give you my version of this. I was never an entrepreneur. I was a cop for 10 years, and I left the police because I wanted to become either a rock star or an entrepreneur. And I ran those two projects simultaneously, and occasionally dip into the music one from time to time. And then something happened. There were some challenges. I got made redundant from my job. Another challenge. I came out of the police struggling with my mental health. I was a mess, but I didn't really know it at the time. And that began a period of searching. I was looking to start businesses. I was trying to find jobs. I was really struggling and I was lost and I didn't know what to do. until one day I came up with an idea. I pitched the idea and I made a sale. And I realized maybe I can do business after all. And then I met Alan, and then this happened, and then that happened. So guys, it's something that some people call it the dip. Okay, so it's like normal life, faced some challenges and some hardships, came out the other side. Sometimes out the other side is somebody in your life that you met. You know, it's the Yoda character, the guru, someone that's helped you through. Or maybe it's a business course that you've been on that's helped you see something differently. Maybe we've helped you make your first sale. Doesn't matter what it is. It's when you've come out the other side, what's the thing that helped you? What inspired you? Who inspired you? What book did you read? What conversation did you have? What did you see? Sometimes people watch a movie and they get to the end of the movie and you go, do you know what? That Jim Carrey movie did that for me recently. The one where he has to say yes to everything. You seen that one? I think is it called Yes Man? I think it is. I watched that movie and I went, right, I'm going to make a change. So don't ask me questions tonight, guys, because I'm not going to say yes tonight, by the way. Maybe next week. It is exactly the hero's journey, Simon. It is a version of the hero's journey. It's a slightly simplified version. The hero's journey's got quite a lot more steps in it if you're going to go really in depth. So this is a version of it to help you. And why is this useful? Because, folks, and it's written in a slightly different way, slightly easier to read. When you click the link, you'll see this version in there. Life is normal. I faced some problems and some difficulties. Then I had a realization or a moment of change. And this is what I'm working on now. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you haven't launched your business yet. Okay, it's just stage 4 is just where you're at now and what you want to create in the future. Some of you have already got that. Some of you, like I forget who it was now that made the sale that's got £120 cash in their pocket. You know, that for you is today. It's like, and then I walked away from this conversation. I got someone to pay £120 in advance for a thing. And now I've realized that I can do this, and the business that I want to create is X. That's what your number 4 is. If you haven't quite figured it out yet, it's what you're working on. It's what you want to have happen next. That's the next step. And you can go into the link that I send you. You can share with us whatever you want to share. Now, there's 2 parts to the link. The first part here is you can answer the questions. They're structured in that 4 stage. Answer the questions. When you hit submit, you don't have to share it with us. If you want to share it with us, tick the box. If you tick the box, then we'll get a copy as well. If you don't tick the box, you just get your own copy, and then you can save it, print it off, stick it on the fridge, and use that as a reminder that this is your leverage, folks. Because once you've got your story, you can do it for a press release. You get yourself on the radio. You can get into your local newspaper. You can type a Facebook post. You can do a LinkedIn post by telling your story and finding new and interesting ways to share with people, you know, how you got to where you got to, because it's interesting. It's interesting. And that's great marketing, folks. Yeah, I'm going to share the link with you, Corin. Here's an example, right? So this is Mark. Mark came on our Rebel School course in October 2020. He came to the Isle of Wight course that we ran, and Mark's story evolved during the course, which basically in the morning of the first day of the course, he had an appointment with the bank, and the bank manager was going to give him a loan to start a business. Right. So, sorry, it was in the afternoon, I think it was. It was a Monday afternoon. He came to the course in the morning, did the first part of the course, and told himself, if it's crap, I'm just going to go home and go to the bank. But I'll just see what this is all about. And by the end of the morning session, we basically saved him from taking a 25 grand loan to fit out a kitchen, which he was thinking of pivoting his business ideas. Basically, he got made redundant in the first wave of COVID lockdowns because he's a chef, like a really, really great chef down in the New Forest, getting paid loads of money, like lots of us, you know, with bills to pay and credit cards and mortgages. Suddenly had no income. He said, right, I'm going to start a business. came to the business school, wrote out a business plan application. If he hadn't have turned up to the Rebel School that morning, he'd be 25 grand in debt and a business that wouldn't have worked. And he had that realization during the morning. He's like, oh, I just realized I wasn't going to, he was going to be selling bread, like artisan bread. He said there was no way I was going to be able to pay the loan back over the first year, never mind, the first month. So you've got an opportunity, and Mark got in the press. A bunch of stuff happened for him locally, which his story got in the press. There's another chapter to his story. Might tell you later. Let me share the link with you because I want to get Henry on. Right, well, I do and I don't. The link is therebelschool.com/my story, or you can use the QR code if you're watching on YouTube or you've got your phone in your hands now. When you click that link, it takes you through to a page. There's 4 boxes to fill in. Tick the box if you want to share it with us. We will read them all. Every single person that shares with us, we will. So that's the link, Corinne, that you were referring to. Beautiful. Okay. Right, Henry, are you still there or have you gone to bed? Oh, Henry's not here. That's a shame.
I thought about it. I thought about it. It was right at the time you made a Ronan Keating quote that I thought, I'm done now.
Henry, your favourite musician.
This is what I get for leaving you alone with content and slides.
Right. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go for 5 minutes. You and Henry are going to talk about me behind my back, actually specifically the course and whatever else is on Henry's agenda. Henry, when do you want me back? 11?
Tomorrow morning.
I'll come back on at 9:19. You've got 6 minutes.
9:19. I have 6
whole
9:20. All right. Just for you.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me into this kingdom. I'm super excited. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to come and say hi. I've had the absolute pleasure of meeting some of you at random events. Please chuck a message in the chat if you were at the South Kilburn event that we ran last week on Monday, and also if you came to the Birmingham meetup. That was really cool. Yes, hey Caroline, great to see you. Nice to see you, Richard. And for everyone else who I've not yet met, I want to invite you, like anything that we're doing, any course that's coming up. I've got a note of 3 things to talk about, one of which is our upcoming events. And I'd love to see all of you there because you guys are getting so much out of this 10-week. I've been watching the chat the whole time we've been running this, and the value that I'm seeing and the success you guys are having, the sales that you're making, the friends you're making. You're getting so much out of this thing online. Just imagine what it feels like when you're in the room. So any of our courses that are coming up, I please would love to invite you to come and get involved, even if you just pop your head in for a day to say hi. We'd love to see you. We'd love to get you in front of the other people that are attending future courses too. This is not the only opportunity you have to hang out with us. We are here to stay, and we'll be doing stuff for a long time. So the first thing is events. So we've got random links and QR codes and all that sort of stuff, but that is the first thing I want to talk about. We've got a few events coming up that are in person. We've got a whole bunch of stuff happening up and in and around Scotland at the moment. So we've got one coming up in South Lanarkshire. We've got one coming up in Stirling. We're also going to be doing some stuff in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and all the rest of the place as well. We have got some stuff going on in London always. We've got a whole bunch of online stuff happening too. We've also got Kensington and Chelsea, which is London. That does count, but I wanted to mention it specifically. And a whole bunch more. What I've learned about being in a company that sells to councils is they usually wait until around now to book in courses until March. So please keep up to date with us. Keep on the email list. We'll let you know when we've got more coming, but we're all going to be around. Hey, Margaret, if I don't see you in the Chelsea event, I will be sad. So, yeah. So, oh, yes, funding is a glorious thing. Canada, Corinne, if you can help us get to Canada, I'm more than happy to do that. Now, the second thing that I wanted to chat to you guys about is the why. Now, we've been talking a lot today, and obviously Simon's been doing a huge amount of delivery around story and about how do you end up where you are. And this is something that I obsess over for us at Rebel, because it ain't really about business, is it? I'm not sure if you've noticed or if you've felt this, but most of the things we're talking about has got nothing to do with whether you should run a business or not. It's about so much more than that. Business is the vehicle. We're using it as a tool, but it's about so much more. And I want to tell you a couple of stories. And there was actually one event that I ran with Angie, who's one of our facilitators, and Laura, who you met a couple of weeks ago. And we were running a course in Wembley. So for any of you who are from Brent, we ran an amazing course in Box Park in Wembley. And there was a couple of attendees to that one event in particular. This is why it sticks in my mind. And they're two very different scenarios. One of the ladies who attended was choosing between eating and traveling to the course every day for 10 days, Monday to Friday for 2 solid weeks. She was choosing whether she was going to eat in the evening or she should get the bus and travel in to come and see us. And this was quite a big shock for me to find that out. And we found out because she collapsed halfway through the day, because she'd spent so much energy, time, effort, traveling, working, building on herself, finding a way out of her situation, that it drew her to exhaustion. And I tell you that because it wasn't about business for her. It was about so much more. It was about creating the life that she deserves. And business was her way of doing it. And another story, and I don't just tell sad stories, but I'm going to. The other story was another lady at the same event who was just an absolute gem. She was the loveliest lady you've ever met in your entire life. And she was crocheting these amazing little key rings and trinkets and hats and all that kind of stuff. And her dream was to knit and sell hats to Innocent Smoothie. You know how once a year they put them on the smoothie bottles in the fridge? And that was her dream. And she came to a business course because that's how you do that. That's how you learn to sell things to big companies. And what we found out slowly through the course is that it wasn't about crocheting. It wasn't about knitting. I know they are different things. My mum told me. It's not about doing the do. It's not even about making the money. It was about taking control back again. And what we slowly found out is that this lady, and obviously I'm not mentioning names for privacy's sake, what this lady was actually working towards was leaving her abusive husband and getting herself out. What this is all about is so much more than just starting businesses. And actually, this is about business is a force for change, and it should be a force for good. We're seeing so many companies now are really leaning into the better nature of people. You can buy a year's worth of toilet roll that cleans water in Africa. Like every food item on the shelf, you can buy a better version that goes and helps someone else, because it's what we should be doing. Because if we're making money, we should be able to go and help other people too. So I guess what's my reason for talking about this? The real reason we are here isn't to help you start a business. If you do, brilliant. The real reason we're here is to unplug people from systems that keep them trapped. We're here to protect people. We're here to get people where they need to go. We're here to support people with their mental health. We're here to get people out of a government system that is built to fight against them, hence the name Rebel. We're here to help people who are in a money trap. We're here to help people who are in a benefit trap. We're here to help people who are just trapped because they don't know what life is about anymore. This is so much more than starting business. This is about changing the world. And I'm so happy you guys are here for it. So, oh, getting emotional. So I guess my message, the reason your why is so powerful is it because it enables you to get people on board with what you do, regardless of what it is that you do. For example, we've just, in that one sentence, or that, well, it's one, more than one, wasn't it? I take my time, I waffle. We're already over time, but I don't care, Simon. I'm in charge at the moment. the whole purpose of having a why and a really strong reason for you to exist is because you get to onboard your customers with that. You get them to come on that journey with you and buy into something more. They're not just buying cake from you. They're supporting a small business. They're not just buying a crocheted keyring. They're helping somebody with their freedom. There's a whole bunch of stuff here, and that's what business is really all about. This is not just about making money. This is about changing the world. So I've spent more time talking about that stuff, but I'm hopeful it's been helpful. What I'd love you guys to do is just put in the chat, what have you thought about this course so far in as few words as possible, between 1 and 3? How has this course helped you? What have you got from it? What's been the best bit? And you're not allowed to say Simon, doesn't count. That's really cool. And I will be reviewing all of this, just so you know. I'm going to be on here supporting the tech. I'll be answering questions through the rest of the evening and doing all that kind of stuff. But I will be reading all of these because for me, the most important thing is that we continue to support people in the best way possible. And this course that we're doing on a Monday night is one of the things that we've paid attention to, created, because we wanted to make sure we did it in the best way possible. So thank you for getting involved. Thank you for hanging out. Simon, you're back.
How can I go on after that, Henry? I didn't know you were going to say that. You've really got me in the feels. You've really got me in the feels. Damn you.
Don't ask me to come and help because I'll just ruin it for you.
I just had in my head, like, Henry's going to come on, talk about me behind my back, ask some questions, make people laugh. And then you've gone and reminded me of what is it that motivates me about Rebel. And you've really stuck a finger in the middle of my chest and pressed, Henry. So thanks, mate.
And that is why we do what we do.
Oh man, right.
Thanks for having me.
Right, you can go now. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Henry Nicholson, everybody, the CEO of the Rebel School, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure I'd be on the planet if it wasn't for him, to be honest. What a bundle of joyful energy he is. Love it. I'm just genuinely speechless. Actually, he's really frightened me. What should we talk about? Oh yeah, I know. I'm going to answer. You can see, I don't know what to say. This is the first time that's ever happened. I'm not going to talk about you, Alex. Yes, it was Anna. In fact, you can borrow him if you want. We'll send Henry to you. We could do that. That could be quite a thing, couldn't it? We could. No, I'm not going to go there. You know, actually, let's do that. We could put in a silent auction. We'll send Henry to work on your business for a day. We'll post them out with Amazon Prime or some other delivery service. So there was a quick question I'm going to answer now about the story from Mel C. Very excited answering Mel C's questions. Simon, can it be that you recognize the challenge that others face? Absolutely. Like if someone else's challenge touched your heart, then do you know what? That's a version of my story. That's how I ended up doing this. Like the very first person that I talked to about business was a reformed heroin addict who got caught in the green channel of Heathrow Airport in the customs, falling asleep in the channel, which is not a great place to fall asleep if you're carrying illegal substances. And he was being told that he needed to go and work in the alcohol counter at Tesco, having spent 8 years in prison getting himself clean. That was what the system was saying that he had to do. And a business plan wasn't going to help this guy. That's how I got started. That's how I got excited about helping people in a different way. So if your patients are experiencing challenges, like your story is the one patient, in my mind, is the one patient or the series of patients who really touched your heart, and why. And that's where your inspiration came from. And your story would be along those lines. Like I went to work one day, I was sat there talking to this person. You could describe them a little. And when I met them, I realized that life was never going to be the same again because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I realized that's what I wanted to do with my life. So here I am now building my business, helping this person, all these people to do X. Absolutely. Great opportunity for you there. Thank you for asking your question. Okay. Caroline, I've noted what you said about him working on your photography business, and he can definitely look after your pet pigeons for you too. Okay, so Levi, I've seen your question. What I'm about to talk about now will hopefully be of some help to you, because I'm going to talk about something that I know a bit about. Right, bear with me a sec. Whilst I press the right button for this, it is. Okay, put the letters OT in the chat or in the comments on YouTube if you may at some point in your life have described yourself as an overthinker. I didn't even ask the question and you were typing it already. Oh my goodness, look at that. There's at least more than one overthinker. And guys, here's what I know to be true is, yeah, sometimes it shows up as analysis paralysis, Frida, you're absolutely right, and Grace too, perfectionism. That's another way of saying it. Isabella says daily. Jonathan says yes. So does Tatiana. Yeah, that's a very good point, Angela, isn't it? You didn't overthink the answer, did you? So I know that you're not overthinking everything all of the time. You weren't thinking at all. You were already typing OT in the comments before the thing. Yeah, there's definitely someone that Simon's gone for that too. And Philip, Simon on YouTube and Philip on YouTube. And Soul Superstore. I love that name. That's brilliant. Soul Superstore and Heart of England Tutors. How lovely to see you there. After meeting in Birmingham as well. These are all OTs, overthinkers. I've got good news and I've got bad news, folks. The good news is we all are. We're all overthinkers. And somehow the story of us overthinking can sometimes compound the problem. Because if you keep telling yourself you're an overthinker, remember I said where you put your focus is the result that you get, then that you will become an overthinker. And as somebody who in a previous part of my life would describe myself as the Olympic team captain of the overthinking team, if such thing did exist, right, I feel qualified to talk about this, right? So they're going to share some experiences with you and give you a sense of how I might answer some of these questions that you're having about overthinking and how you move on. So the good news is that we're all overthinkers. The bad news is that we're all overthinkers, but it is a universal truth that the part of the human condition is, remember I said earlier, we suffer more in imagination than reality. We get 60 to 80,000 thoughts every single day, according to some studies. That's what the psychologists with their clipboards, because psychologists have clipboards, that's what they reckon, 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, which, by the way, the reason that there's a picture of bees there is that's around about a similar number for a busy hive during the summer. So we're literally walking around, folks, with a head full of bees. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this next little section is help you calm it down a little bit to identify which are the ones that are useful and which are the ones that aren't. Okay, because the thoughts that we have influence how we feel. Remember, I'm looking for leverage as a business owner. I want leverage. I'm looking for how can I wake up tomorrow feeling more motivated? How can I wake up tomorrow feeling more focused, more up for it, more confident than I did yesterday? Because yesterday was a rough day and this morning was a rough morning. But the good news is there's a midnight thing. And at midnight, I have this sort of mental reset button. I go, well, tomorrow's tomorrow. Okay. And actually at times of needing to be more resilient, which folks, let me tell you, in the last year have been some of the toughest for me personally in my whole life. And I thought I'd already, you know, when you go, oh, good, another life lesson. I thought I was done with the main ones. Apparently I'm not. Like this time last year, I could barely get out of bed. I was literally struggling to get onto meetings. The alarm clock would go off and I go, I'm just not feeling it. I can't get up. I've got a meeting at 10. I'll leave it to the last possible moment. I was just really, really struggling with life, with business, with direction, with purpose. I was just lost, right? And the stuff that I'm sharing with you now helped me to get unlost, helped me to get unstuck, helped me to wake up. And look, I'm not a finished article. I'm still a bit roller coastery, you know, as the philosopher Mr. Keating said. But what I've discovered is what I'm sharing with you now is kind of like my parachute. This is the thing that's changing everything for me. And it's giving me a level of resilience that I didn't even know I had. Okay. So if you're really struggling, tune into this bit. And if you're not struggling, great, because then you can use this bit as leverage for you to be even more motivated and feeling even more confident about what your next steps are. Okay, because what we think about influences how we feel. How we feel determines the action that we take, and therefore the results that we get. Right, and this is what it looks like, folks. If I think about stuff, if I think happy thoughts, I'll feel happy, and then I'll act in a way that happy feelings will make me want to act, and therefore I will get the results of feeling happy. Okay, and all of this stuff, I can wrap it up and go, this is about being. So my question to you is, who are you being right now? Who have you been being? Because who you are being equals your experience of life. I've got some examples for you. If you are being angry, what are the results that you'll get from being angry? If you're being negative, what are the results that you're going to get from being negative? If you're being lazy, what are the results that you're going to get of being lazy? Okay, so the thing that's going through my mind at the moment, the more and more I think about this stuff, the more impact it's having with me personally, which is I've been being frustrated. I've been being unfocused. I've been being unproductive. So I'm getting the results of being these things. Got some other examples for you. If you're being resourceful, what are the results of you being resourceful? If you're being confident, what do you think? If you woke up tomorrow morning being confident, rather than telling yourself a story that you're not confident, what will be the results that you get? You'll get better results, right? If you are being an action taker, and this is what I want from you guys, this is my number one ask for you from the session this evening, is stop dipping your toes in the water to see how cold it is and whether it's cold or not, and whether you fancy getting in. Go for it. Whatever the thing is that you want to do, it doesn't matter what stage you're at, whatever the next thing is, don't half-ass it. Go for it. Because if you're being an action taker, you'll get the results of taking action. Right? So here's the important part of this. Back to pineapples just for a second, folks. If you sow pineapple seeds, don't expect strawberries to arrive. Like, you don't go, okay, so I'm going to be angry, frustrated, unconfident, and unresourceful, and then wonder why I can't make money in my business. Because who you are being is the seeds that you're sowing right now. My question is, who have you been being? Who have you been being, folks? Who have you been being that's holding you back from getting the results that you want? I'd love to know. Please stick it in the comments. Who have you been being that's holding you back? Have you been being hesitant, for example? Yeah, I get it, Bob. If I'm worried about if I'm being a worrier about what other people say, if I'm being fearful, then that's going to hold me back. So let's ask a better question. These are great, by the way, and thank you for typing this stuff in, because these are pineapple seeds that you're sowing and you're expecting strawberries. And Alan and Katie will talk about incongruence next week. I'm excited for that session, actually, because I gave them a brief. They totally ignored it, and they're going to do something different, which is really cool, because I know they're putting a lot of effort and energy into this. They are answering the brief. We are talking about money mindset, but they're going to be talking about vision, guys, and about what that even means, and purpose. And they'll be getting that leverage for you next week. And I'm going to set a little bit of homework for you. There's 3 bits, really. 2 bits for them, 1 bit for me. If you've been being indecisive and scatty, you will harvest the fruit of the seeds that you've sown, Angela. I get it. I love it. Roseanne says, if I'm being a person's pleaser, if I'm pleasing people, you will get the results of being a people pleaser. That means you're abandoning what's in your heart and what you want to do. And I want that for you. I want that for everybody here. If I've been being an idea wanderer, then I love that. That's very poetic. Then you will get the results of that. So I'll come back to the tractor in a second. Guys, I'm really, really pumped by your answers here. The fact that you've got the self-awareness to identify who you've been being, and that is the results that you're getting. Remember, the results come from who I'm being, what I'm thinking, which determines how I feel. And if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. So my invitation to you is from this call is if you want strawberries, you got to sow strawberry seeds. So let's ask a better question. Who do you need to be being? Let me stare at you down the camera, YouTube, and people of the Zoomiverse. Who do you need to be being to get the results that you want? Let's turn it on its head. Totally get that. So Kim says probably quite lazy over the years, could have done more, but took the easy route. I get it. If we're being a bit lazy, but here's the thing that we do as humans, we then beat ourselves up over the fact that we haven't got the results. We don't need to beat yourself up, but you just go, that's who I was being. So if I want better results, I need to be something different. Let's have a look at your answers. Barb, I love that, Barb. It's a really powerful emotion. It's like getting cross, making things happen from a place of like, I'm really angry about this. I'm going to make something happen. That's how the Rebel School started. Alan got really angry, launched a business with me because he got really angry about something, about people being encouraged to take on debt. May says, being brave and courageous, just do it. I need to be an action taker. How do you get over fear? That's a really interesting question, Lindsay. I'm going to talk about that right now. So Lindsay says, how do you get over fear? Really, really interesting question. Now, to me, fear is part of the human condition. I'm not actually sure you can. We can accept that fear exists. We can also accept that, remember, we suffer more in imagination than reality. Big fan of the Stoics at the moment. The fear, can you point to it for me? Could you hold your fear in your hand and show me, or email me a picture of it? No, you can't. Why not? Because it's a hallucination. That's another way of saying 60 to 80,000 thoughts. Another way of saying that is you're having 60 to 80,000 hallucinations every single day. So the fear that you're experiencing isn't real. It seems real, but the fear is actually a combination of what you're thinking and how you're thinking. And that's all. I'll prove it to you. Shall I prove it to you? Have we got time? Yeah, I'm going to prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. Let me show you this, folks. Question for you. Please type in the comments on YouTube and in the Zoom chat. I want your opinion of these trainers, everybody. Please type them in the chat. Give us your opinion. What do you think? What do you think of the sneakers? I owned a pair very, very similar to this. Sneakery. An ugly color. Pretty. Not my thing. Awful colors. A bit colorful for me, says Dominique. Nice, awesome, ugly. They look pretty smart, snazzy and fresh. They're just trainers, says Levi. What if I told you they were 340 quid? What do you think of them then? How much? You're like $400 pair of trainers. Pricey? No. Not worth it, says Viola. Nope, says Chelsea. Says Caroline. I don't think head of pet photography at the Rebel School is very happy about the price of the trainers. Oliver's feeling it. Well, look, it's interesting that, Van, you say about the Jamaican flag. So here's the theme I want to give you, folks. The trainers haven't changed. They're minding their own business. But we've just seen about 70 opinions of them come on the screen straight away. What do you think? The Heart of England tutors, says that they're a waste of money. Philip says they're not for me. Leave the trainers alone. They're minding their own business. I arrived at Johannesburg Airport, folks, wearing a very similar pair of trainers. I went through a sneaker phase. I'm happy to say I'm out of it now. And as I arrived in security with my brand new gleaming white trainers, the colors were similar but different to this. They were in South African flag colors. They're my favorite pair of trainers I've ever had. Not very comfortable, but I liked them, right? And I get to security, massive queue of people, and the security guard stares at me and then does that sort of slow motion, like finger waggle when they go, come here, right? And I go, oh no, I wish I'd worn my old trainers. I feel like an Egypt. I feel like an absolute Egypt. And now the queue's getting bigger. The security guards are gathered around me at the x-ray machine, and I'm standing by the x-ray machine, and they order me to take my shoes off. So I take my shoes off. And at that point, like, they were carrying guns and stuff, right? They don't mess about in certain countries at security, do they? Right. And I'd already decided that I like these trainers. They're my favorite pair of trainers, but you can have them. In fact, you can have one each. You can hop your way to the car park, right? So I hand over the trainers, and they're examining the shoes. Massive queue of people, like almost to the door of the terminal, looking at these trainers. They go, "Boo, these shoes, where'd you get these shoes? They're amazing. Where did you get them? You know." And then when I got to the place where I was going, a little hop to Namibia, people staring at my shoes, going, "What are they?" Like, literally like what are those shoes? And then I get back to the UK, go into a course in Reading, right? Nothing against Reading, everybody, but this is what the people of Reading thought of my shoes. Aren't you a bit old for those, mate? So, like, wow, the trainers are minding their own business. The trainers haven't changed. The trainers haven't. They're just on my feet doing what trainers do. Somebody else said to me, might be my ex, "Can't believe you had that amount of money to spend on a pair of trainers. Have you lost your mind?" My son, who was about 15, 16 at the time, said, "Dad, these are really, really cool. These are the coolest trainers you've ever had." Right? Once again, the trainers are minding their own freaking business. It's not the thing. It's how I think about the thing that gives me my experience. Right? So all of you lot turn your nose up at those shoes on the thing, especially when you found out the price. I've got great news for you. It's not my trainers that made you feel like that. It's what you created with your 60 to 80,000 hallucinations. You focused on the ones that made you feel not very nice. That's basically the human condition that I wanted to share with you guys. That's what's going on here. And here's the real kicker. There are no exceptions. And I used to think there was an exception. Traffic wardens, right? Whenever I saw someone with a pad of tickets walking past the car, they always walk past my car when I've parked for 2 minutes longer than I should have done. And then they slow motion start writing the ticket out. And I make up these hallucinations about they're picking on me. They're picking on my car today. I did have a bad experience with one in a London borough who shall remain nameless. And I've now projected that one experience in the past onto all traffic wardens, present and future. It turns out that I'm making that up too. The traffic warden's just minding their own business. It's how I'm thinking about the traffic warden that's making me feel really, really angry on the inside. Why? Because of something that's happened in the past. Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense, does it? I'm recreating an experience of a traffic warden from 15 years ago and bringing it into the present every single time I think about it. That really hurt. But it hurts me more on the inside. Guys, can you see where I'm getting from this? So actually, what I want to get, the other place that I want to, let me just land the plane on this one for a minute. Let's go back to shoes for a second. So the shoes of minding their own business, everything around you is minding its own business. The people that you think, your perception of people's perception of you on Facebook, they're also minding their own business, even when it feels like they're not. And actually, your experience isn't coming from what they type in the chat. Your experience is coming from the fear that it's prodded. Where's the fear? Well, it doesn't exist. It's being created inside you in the present moment. That's it. And here's the other thing I know to be true. Let's go back here. I want you to imagine every single time you repeat an unkind thought to yourself, imagine that that's one trip across a muddy field in a tractor, like you're plowing one thought into the earth. And when you have it a second time, you reverse along the same track. And we are going backwards and forwards across the same thoughts for our entire lives, and then wondering why we feel unhappy. We're creating these divots in the earth. This is my metaphor of finding it hard to climb out because I'm so used to saying unkind things to myself that the field is well trodden. Now it's time. But guys, also that's a thought too. That's made up too. That's just a metaphor. At any given moment, you can decide, I don't want to think about that anymore. And that's it. That's it. That's the message I've got for you guys. I want you to be kind to yourselves. It's a lot flipping harder running a business when you're telling yourself you're not very good at sales. If you keep telling yourself that hallucination, right? That's like, imagine how many, here's the thing. Here's my hallucination, folks. I can hear some of you groaning, like, oh God, he's off on one. Here we go. Here's the thing that I reckon happens. I want you to type in a chat something that you tell yourself on a regular basis that might not be helping you to grow your business. That's what my invitation is to you guys. Be brave. All those people that put OT in the chat, you've got something to say about this. You say things like, I hate public speaking. I'm not very good at business. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm scared to put myself on social media. What are the things that what are the things that for you are you telling yourself that's preventing you? I'm not good enough, says Rita. Yeah, that'll do it. Introverted, Van. Yeah, that'll do it. I'm not as good as others. Claire, are you comparing pineapples here? I'm not good enough. There's a few of those. That's interesting. I can't do it on my own. Right. Now, I bet, here's what my hallucination is. I bet you've said that to yourself more than once. Wild, isn't it? Oh, I'm not good with technology, Gahinde. That's a good one. I had a client that I was coaching that had one of those hallucinations. She said, I'm terrible with computers. And I'm like, oh, wow. How did you get on this Zoom call then? That must have been a real challenge for you. So we can always do, even those of us that are saying, oh, selling's a bit yucky, Mike. Yeah, that'll definitely prevent you from selling things. Now, remember, the guys, this is all hallucination. It's all made up. It feels real. I get it. It feels real. But the only thing that's real is this moment. Everything else is a hallucination. Otherwise, you'd be able to show me a picture of your introversion. You know, like you go, oh, you're an introvert, are you? Show me your badge. Where's your medal? Where do you keep that? Okay, so the repeat experiences, says Levi, the repeat experiences, what my interpretation of that is a thing happened in the past, and every time I think about it, I'm repeating the experience in my own mind. That's when I say repeat experiences. We just keep repeating the same thing. We're in the tractor driving backwards and forwards across the field. Question for all of you guys is this: those things that you've typed in the chat and in the comments, I love that, by the way. Hillary says on YouTube, showing myself on social media fills me with fear and dread. And Dawn says, keep telling myself I'm a procrastinator, so I live up to the name, plus I'm an introvert. Procrastinator plus introvert does not equal sales. And every time we repeat that, we are making it harder for ourselves, and that's why we're stuck. What I'm pointing to, guys, is that this is a hallucination. It's not real. It feels real, but it's a story that you've latched onto. And we repeat it. The more that we repeat it, the deeper the furrows get and the harder it feels to jump out. You know what I mean? I don't want that for you. I want it to be easier. I want it to feel fun. How do we do that? You don't even need to change your thoughts, folks. I'm not even going to say, well, yes, in that case, I need to tell myself that I'm not an introvert, because I know that's not going to work for you either, because you'll have that habit, okay, that will tell you, yes, but there is evidence that I am. I'm not saying you have to stop the thoughts, which is what often the next conclusion is that people have. If I have negative thoughts about myself, about my business, then I just stop them. I just stop thinking negative things, and then that'll be easy then. No, that's like standing under that waterfall, like that person trying to hold off the water, because we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just know that's all they are. It's thoughts. It's not real. It feels real, but if you're getting negative results, it's because you're thinking negative thoughts, which is giving you negative feelings, which is making you do things to respond in the way that you're feeling, and you're getting the results of thinking negative thoughts. And that is who you're being. If I'm being negative, I'm sowing negative seeds. What I invite you to do is to try something different. I want you to sow different seeds and see what results you get. And you can go, I sowed some different seeds, Simon. I sowed positive seeds for a day, and this is what happened. This is what I learned. Okay, so let's wrap this up, folks. A couple of questions that I want to talk to you there. Anonymous participant, that's an unusual name, says, why do we become more fearful when we get older? That's a really interesting question. I have a hallucination about that. My hallucination is we've had the habits for longer, and our world therefore shrinks. We've been telling ourselves, if I tell myself for an hour a day, minimum, I bet there's lots of people that these comments that you've typed, brilliant, by the way. I'm not qualified. It's too late. I'm not good enough. Selling's a bit yucky. What else have we got? No one will come. Like, if I tell myself that for more than an hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. Remember, 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, 28 hours a month, 290, over 300 hours a year. If I like, imagine 300 hours a year. What's that? That's like 12 days, like it's more than 10 days, 12 days of saying negative things. If I gave you another 12 days, not even like working hours, if let's work out the working days, how many working days would that be? 300. Loads. You'd have like an extra 4 or 5 weeks to work on your business if you took your foot off the gas saying negative things and instead invested it in taking action and doing sales. Okay, so what's happening for us, folks, is that we've got an opportunity to take action, but we're thinking a bunch of negative things, which means the action that we need to take is on the other side of that. So maybe we should try something different. Maybe we should try something different. So Catherine says, the thing I struggle with is how to provide a service to people who need the service but can't actually afford it. Like Rebel, I suppose. My thought is to help others. Yeah, very good. I think there is an answer to your question, Catherine, which is kind of like our model is we just need to find, you need to find someone with cash that cares about the audience that you care about. That's one model. There's other ways of doing it. There's a pay it forward model. There's a donation model. There's a charity model. I like the sales model because it gives you empowerment. What I would say is to double check with you that they can't actually afford it, because there are lots of people that say that their customers can't afford things, so actually maybe they can. So just double checking that. Good. Right, folks. Question for you then. We're going to wrap up the session very soon. I've got a little bit of homework to give you. I've got a few closing thoughts. We'll do the Q&A on Thursday as normal. So this Thursday evening, what I want from you is, yeah, I heard all your stuff about the thinking and stuff, but I am actually an introvert and I can't actually get myself in because, you know, I want your yeah buts on Thursday. Okay, that's what I want from you. So in a second, I'm going to ask you what your takeaway from today's session, because I bet there's something that you need to start doing, or there is something that you need to stop doing, or there's something that you're already doing pretty well. And actually, you should probably keep doing that. So what I'd like you to do, folks, is in the YouTube comments, guys, or in the Zoom chat, I always point over here with YouTube. I know YouTube is sort of everywhere, but my phone is here. That's why I point there. It's here. Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Right, so okay. Natalie, I've got no idea what's going on. So, no, yeah, I've got no idea what's happening here. That was a little bit of a Morecambe and Wise thing that you were doing. And is that what I was doing? Is that why you did it? Type in the chat, guys, or in the comments, what's your start, stop, and keep that you've picked up from today's session? What do you need to start doing as a result of not necessarily something I've said? Maybe you've just had a bit of a moment of realization tonight that actually maybe I do need to start telling myself more positive things. Maybe I need to start being kind to myself. Maybe I need to stop entertaining thoughts that aren't true, they're hallucinations. Maybe I need to stop being unkind to myself. Maybe I need to stop saying I'm not very good at business. maybe that would help me be better at business if I at least stop saying it, right? What's the thing that you need to start? What's the thing that you need to stop? What do you think you need to keep doing? Stick a note in the chat. I would love to see that, folks. I love that, Anita. If you did nothing else from this business course except be more positive in how you communicate with yourself, we're even more unkind to ourselves than other people are, aren't we? Start taking action, says Sonia. Lovely. Fran, I love what you said. That's great. Start taking action. Stop negative self-talk, says Lisa. Brilliant. Miroslava, I love what you said. I need to be kind to myself even if something goes wrong. I've got good news and bad news. The good news, Miroslava, is it is absolutely within your power to be kind to yourself when something goes wrong. The bad news is something's definitely going to go wrong, because if it doesn't go wrong, you're not doing it right. You know, and if your business works for you perfectly first time, I'm going to be very happy with you for you, and also I'm going to be very angry because it wasn't like that for me. Like, how the hell did you get it right first time? If our expectation is that it's going to work brilliantly first time, that is also a hallucination. Okay, but what you do find out is the more you get wrong, the faster you get it wrong, the better your business is going to be. That's the weird paradox of starting a business. The more mistakes you make in the early days, especially if you don't spend any money. Yeah, this is great stuff, folks. What I want you to do, actually, here's the thing. Make a note yourself. Don't just leave it in the comments. Make a note yourself in your phone, on a bit of paper, on a sticky note. If the cat's handy and they've got a white coloured thing, you can even write it on the cat, as long as it's your cat. Don't write it on the cat. That's kind of, yeah, write it on the cat. I want you to write on the cat. No. I want you to write down on your notes what's the thing that you've just stuck in the chat, because if you don't write it down, it ain't going to happen. There is something magical about the alchemy of pen and paper. If you're not able to write it down, then leave yourself a voice note. However you record it in a way that's going to be meaningful for you, then that would be good. So, final thoughts, folks. The results that you're getting in your life and in your business are down to who you're being. So the homework looks a bit like this. Get ready for the Donegans, everybody. They're turning up on Monday with Money Mindset. They're going to help you create a vision for your life and your business. What? Yes, a vision for your life and your business. It doesn't matter what the time frame is, folks. For some of you, your time frame might be a month. You go, like, in a month's time, this is what I want my business to be doing. This is how I want to be living. Some of you will find it helpful to change the time frame to a bit longer. You say, well, in a year's time, or 2 years' time, or 5 years' time, or 3 months, you choose the time frame that makes sense to you, and then do a second version, which is stretch it. Now, I'm not asking you to do anything other than make notes. Just like when something comes up for you, make a quick note of it and you go, this is what I really want. Because whenever I sit down and try and think of my vision, I always really struggle. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. But when I'm out for a walk or in the shower or on the bus, like, sometimes it comes to me like, oh yeah, that's what I want life to be like. That's what I really want. Or you'll watch something, you'll watch a video or see something in a movie, or a friend of yours will say something and it will hit. That's the thing I want you to be open to. I want you to be open for some information to come to you about what you really want life to be like, because Alan and Katie are going to help you leverage it, right? Going to help you really understand it and how to apply that with your life and your business. And I can't actually think of two people that live this in a more authentic way than those two. They have an absolutely extraordinary life because they are expert at creating a vision, understanding why it's important to them, and executing. And they're going to share that with you guys on Monday next week, which is super cool. The second part of this, I just want you to make notes on this one. What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your business to look like as part of your vision? What do you want my life to look like? What do you want your business to look like? And then Alan and Katie will help you with that to bring it to life for you and to turn it into something that you can make happen, which is kind of exciting. It's also a bit scary. What do you mean actually make it happen? What, I just can't sit around in my house talking about the business that I really love, wish I could have. And no, yeah, we're going to deliver it. We're going to make it happen, guys. Otherwise, what's the point? So those are the 2 bits of homework in preparation for the Donegans. Final piece of homework from me. Do you remember earlier on in the session, what I want for you is I want you to take action. I want you to come off of this thing and stop hesitating. Stop telling yourself stories that aren't true. Go out there, take action, speak to people, take a deep breath, come home, give yourself a hug, go back again the next day. Don't send 1 email, send 50. Don't make 1 phone call, make 20. Don't speak to 1 person, speak to 10. Don't do 1 drawing, do 3. Set yourself a challenge and do 3 pieces of art over the next week. Or don't focus on yourself. See if you can help someone else's business. Don't do 1 social media post. Do 1 a day. You've got Laura's challenge. Laura's there to help. I want you to take action. I want you to get out there, make money, have fun, do good for yourselves and for your loved ones. And I'll see you on Thursday night for the Q&A, everybody, where we're going to dive into the coaching. We'll do the one-to-one stuff, and I'm going to answer your questions on Thursday night. Have a fabulous evening. Love you. Bye. You can hang up now. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. You first.